The Rugrats. What the hell can you even say about this show? It was one of the most popular cartoons of the mid-90s. The adventures of 4 talking babies helped make Nickelodeon a household name and were a large part of many people's childhoods, mine included. Though I will admit it is somewhat strange that a show centered entirely around babies and toddlers was as popular as it was. Not to mention, it wasn't the prettiest thing to look at. At best, you could describe the show's art style as lumpy. That, combined with the frankly grotesque character designs and the frequent use of gross-out humour, meant that watching the show could at times feel a bit awkward.
A baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
Oh, you know, just outright fucking illegal. But it was a popular franchise nonetheless. And you know what happens to popular 90s franchises? They get rebooted and everybody hates it. But apart from that, licensed video games. And the Rugrats was no exception. There have been dozens of Rugrats games released over the years, with titles such as Search for Reptar and Studio Tour probably being the most well known. But today, we're taking a look at one from my childhood, Rugrats Scavenger Hunt for the Nintendo 64. The game was released in 1999 by THQ and is described in its Wikipedia page as a dull, sloppy mess. Rugrats Scavenger Hunt features I'm sorry, treasure hunt. Make up your fucking mind, game. Rugrats Treasure Hunt features 3 different game modes to pick from. There's Angelica's Temple.
Which game would you like to play, Scout?
Shut the fuck up, Grandpa Lou. Whichever game mode you pick, there's a pre-game cutscene introducing each level, and I'll be honest, these terrified me as a child. It wasn't the creepy, off-model faces staring into infinity, nor was it the orange parasites who appear to be crawling their way out of Chucky's skull. It wasn't even the motionless, dead-eyed Susie standing creepily in the doorway waiting for her cue to come in. No, what terrified me as a child was this.
Find all the pieces of the broken statue before Angelica finds hers, or you will be trapped here in the Temple of Cocobola forever.
Mummy! So as the terrifying cutscene explained, the purpose of the first game, Angelica's Temple, is to find all of your statue pieces before Angelica finds hers. Never mind that it was Angelica who broke the statues in the first place. But of course, she'll never be punished for it. She's never punished for anything, the little child. You know, for a Nintendo 64 title, this doesn't look half bad. The environment has been rendered decently with lots of colour, and some actual thought seems to have been put into the design and layout of the temple. However, the character models could have been better in my opinion. I understand the designs just might not have translated to 3D very well, but look at their necks, they look like they're about to snap off at any second. Though to be fair, real babies' necks do that as well, so fair enough. Rugrats Scavenger Hunt is essentially a board game, following the basic rules you'd find in things like Mario Party or Fortune Street. You take it in turns to roll a die, or a spinner in this case, and move your character around the board. But you're not alone in this game. Angelica, Grandpa Lou, and Spike are all roaming around the temple and do different things when you run into them. Grandpa Lou gives you cookies, which act as a sort of currency, allowing you to purchase bonus items. Spike gives you an additional 5 spaces of movement, and Angelica doesn't give you anything. In fact, she actually takes things away from you. Big fucking surprise. She'll mostly just steal your cookies, but if you're really unlucky, she'll actually take one of your statue pieces from you. And apparently you can get those back? I have no idea how you do it. I think Tommy managed to do it once, but I don't know how, and well, he's an NPC, so he's not likely to return any of my emails. As well as cookies, the game features an energy mechanic where you have a set amount of tiles you can move across before becoming tired. You gain energy either by landing on a catnap square or by trading for it with cookies. If you run out of energy, you
go the fuck to sleep,
and one of the adults picks you up and puts you to bed. Dee Dee? That isn't your child. Dee Dee! Put the child down! Dee Dee, do I have to call the police again? To be honest though, this could easily be used to your advantage. Although you do miss a turn, after your nap you get to warp to any room in the temple, meaning that you can cross from one end of the map to the other much quicker. It's also very good if you've been cornered by Angelica and need to make a quick escape. Just remember to take note of which room she's in before you walk back to the temple or you'll end up— FUCK! To actually find the items you need to complete the game, you have to land on the green spaces with magnifying glasses on them. These allow you to search an area of the room in hopes of finding a statue piece, or other useful items such as a compass or a screwdriver.
I'll use this to go through the secret sausage ways.
As you heard, this game features voice acting, with all the characters being portrayed by the original cast of the show, which is pretty cool. They may all sound like they've been shanked by a Commodore 64, but it's really neat to hear the actual Rugrats voices when they interact with each other.
My worstest nightmare.
Oh really, Phil? Because, judging by the way you were dressed, I would have assumed that your worstest nightmare would have been the Battle of the Crater. No, but seriously, why is he dressed like that? Like, the other costumes I get, but Phil is a Union it doesn't make any sense. Another thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me are the rules of this game mode. I get that we're supposed to find our statue pieces and stop Angelica from finding hers, but once again, I have no idea how you get pieces back from her once she steals them. It certainly doesn't tell me how to in the game at all, and this is a game for little babies, so how are they supposed to figure it out? In my confusion and, honestly, desperation as the game had been going on for an hour at this point, I accidentally gave Angelica the victory by walking straight into her. Once again, I find myself confounded and frustrated by the intricate complexities of a children's video game. Well, Angelica's Temple was a bust, but we do have 2 more game modes to try. Grandpa's Sunken Treasure is up next, and in this game we have to
Find the Grand Tesoro Pirate Treasure before the other babies.
Which, if you don't speak rejected black sales extra, means that you have to find all the treasure before any of the other babies do. It's interesting to note that this game is competitive, whereas the last one was cooperative. And since that's the case, Angelica is actually nowhere to be seen, and is instead replaced by Susie, who, rather than hindering you by stealing your treasure, actively helps you by just straight up giving you a piece. Thanks. Visually, however, this stage is a bit of a disappointment, at least compared to the previous level. Although that is kind of to be expected when going from something as cool and visually interesting as an ancient temple to water. Even the babies' outfits suck compared to Angelica's temple. You go from these interesting, unique costumes to just colour swaps of the same diving suit. I mean, what the hell happened to all the creativity and colour? Oh, I see. It all went into this fish. Fuck, that's hypnotizing. Grandpa's Sunken Treasure has pretty much an identical setup to Angelica's Temple, with the only major difference being that you're now working against the other babies, and there's only 4 items you have to find. A coin, a ring, a gemstone, and a necklace. The first baby to find one of each type of treasure wins the game. However, unlike Angelica's Temple, this game mode features multiple ways of obtaining the treasure you need. There's the traditional searching method when you land on the right square, Susie will also give you a piece in exchange for 10 cookies, and you actually have the ability to steal treasure from other babies. If you land on the same space as another character, you enter Mortal Kombat! By which I mean you play a game of rock, paper, scissors, with the winner getting to take any piece of treasure they want from the loser. This is a really cool idea, albeit certainly not original. However, I wish they included more mini-games than just rock, paper, scissors. Given that it's entirely luck-based, it's not exactly the most competitive game to play. Sunken Treasure definitely feels a lot more Mario Party compared to the first level. Actually competing with other players in a race to get all the pieces of treasure could have been lots of fun. However, it's a bit too easy in my opinion, and seriously lacking in variety, especially when it comes to the mini-games. You know, because there's only one. The last game mode to try is Reptar's Candy Island. You guys remember Reptar, right? He was the Rugrats version of Godzilla, who eventually went on to have his own line of overpriced candy bars. No, I am not paying almost £10 for a single bar of frosting-filled chocolate. You can fuck right off. Interesting that Reptar's game mode here seems to also be about candy. Huh. Well, let's see what's going on in... Get back! Get back! Holy fuck, what happened to the babies? This is some seriously disturbing shit. Who allowed this? Anyway, Reptar's Candy Island is, without a doubt, one of the worst board games I've ever played. Aesthetically, it's monstrous, and the game itself is somehow actually worse. Instead of searching for treasure of some kind, you simply have to amass a larger total of candy than anyone else, with each baby having their own unique checklist of which types of candy they have to collect. You start off on a board surrounding a giant confectionery volcano, atop which stands Reptar, casting down his judgment on those below. Occasionally, he'll decide to shower one of the babies with bonus candy if he's feeling particularly benevolent that turn. This main board links to several smaller candy-themed areas, which aside from the occasional eruption from the volcano, is the only place you can get the different sweets from. But here's the thing about Reptar's Candy Island. There is practically no player input. Every single board you play on is circular, meaning there are no different paths for you to take. No forks in the road, no going backwards, just a straight line. Well, a circle, but you get the point. The only input from you is confirming whether or not to enter any of the candy zones if you happen to land on the right space for it. This game goes from large, open boards with multiple paths to choose and secrets to explore, to fucking circles. The AI might as well be playing my character. You could literally play this game mode by just hitting the A button repeatedly, and you'd do just as well. So yeah, this game kinda sucks. It's sad because when you think about it, there was a fair amount of potential here. Think of all the interesting mini-games and imaginatively themed zones you could have had with the Rugrats license. But no, instead Rugrats Scavenger Hunt is a shallow attempt at ripping off Mario Party, devoid of imagination and completely starved for content and variety. What could have been a fun party game featuring an incredibly popular and colourful franchise decided instead to be as shit as the contents of Dill's nappies. It's always a shame when a game you loved as a child turns out to be terrible, but I like to look at it as a reminder of how much I've improved as a person. I mean, not only have my tastes vastly improved, but I'm certainly not scared of those cutscenes anymore. I'm dead! Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been very hot lately, so I guess that's my excuse for why it's so late. My question of the day is, what was your favourite cartoon growing up? For me, I'm probably gonna have to say Ed, Edd and Eddy. You know, it's a shame they never made a game of that show. That'd be pretty fun to review if it existed. Shame. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to see more. And remember, you can find me on Twitter @TheTransHeel. I've been MayRey, and I'll see you all next time.